All right, and we're back here on Couch Coach Live. We're actually live tonight here,
Mhm.
here under the lights on a Thursday night edition of Couch Coach Live under the lights here. What's going on, Mal?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. Just
You
been
you
a been
boys
a been a week.
you boys getting ready for that big game on Sunday, huh?
Oh yeah, man. It's
Mm-hmm.
a holiday. I mean, it is by far like the best holiday there is. So definitely got a great show lined up for you this week as we continue our fourth annual Couch Coach Live Super Week, powered by SeatGeek. We got a great show lined up, so we'll talk about the NBA trade deadline. Blah. We'll talk about Austin Rivers, and then also we'll talk about Austin Rivers tonight. His comments towards Bronny James.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about somewhat of a fantasy type situation for me that might be come to fruition in the fall. Then also we'll be previewing Super Bowl 58. We'll talk about our storylines to watch, guys who we rooted for. Um, give our thoughts on how this game will play out. How will the San Francisco 49ers win this football game, and also the Kansas City Chiefs. And we give out our score prediction. So it's going to definitely be a great night here on Couch Coach Live. And we actually live this, for the first time this week. But definitely huge shout out to everybody who has came on this week.
Right.
And I'll make mention of that throughout the podcast today. So what we're gonna keep that intro, and we'll be right back on right here on Couch Coach Live. We'll be right back. Yes, and we definitely like that. Shout out to Big Kirko. But we back here on Couch Coach Live. As we mentioned, we continue in our fourth annual Couch Coach Live Super Week, powered by SeatGeek. Head over to SeatGeek.com. Use our promo code Couch Coach to get yourself $20 off your first purchase by using SeatGeek. SeatGeek.com. If you're going to Super Bowl, hey, I mean that's the price of maybe a water and maybe a popcorn. But hey, use the promo code if you're getting tickets. I mean, I can give you $20 off. That's all I can get you, bro. So that might be a can of beer or whatever whatever they concessions. I think I seen somewhere where this lady paid like $9 for a Pepsi at like one of I guess gift shop out at one of the places in Las Vegas. I seen it and I was like, yeah, this outsane. This is
Yeah.
insane.
Wow.
But yeah, man. So we are back here on Couch Coach Live. So we'll get going first. We'll talk about, and it's funny. I always find, with Super Week, you always, we always know this is how everything that goes on right around this time. We know about the game, and usually in the past it's been the trade deadline. So we'll talk about the NBA trade deadline. Of course, it's unlike last year where you had Kevin Durant being traded right around this time last year. And then also, all the moves that the Lakers did all last year as well. So let's just talk about the NBA trade deadline. Just some trades you like, some you won't fill in, or just overall thoughts on what transpired today in the NBA.
Um, like I was saying, I'm going through everything. I'm like, man, what's really going on? Because it wasn't like, it's just a bunch of role players. Just seemed like to me, it was never like no true like second or third option being traded to. I mean, you can say Buddy Hield in some type of way, but it was nothing major, And like I was telling you before we got on air, I'm trying to figure out. I got some questions to you. Like, it just seemed like the Nets. Like, what are they really doing? Like, it seemed like they went going right back to where they were, getting a whole bunch of draft picks. You know what I mean? Like what are you
Yeah.
really shooting for? But if I have to say the ones, it's a bunch of them I didn't understand. Um, I got like I think the 76ers should have kept Pat Beverly. I felt like he was happy. The fans loved him. He seemed like he was at a place he wanted to be, the happiest he's been in a long time. But they traded him to the Bucks for Cameron Payne and a 2027 second round draft pick. I'm trying to understand that, coach.
Yeah. Now, from what I was told, and not me told, but
Right.
what I heard from, I think either it was Woj or Wendy.
Right.
So basically, what they thinking that Philly gonna end up ultimately doing is probably bring back Cal Lowry. I'm not bring back Cal Lowry, but I'm assuming
Right.
that Charlotte essentially he'd be reunited
Right.
with Nick Nurse. So that's
Right.
why I'm thinking where that lands. But I
Oh,
definitely think,
okay.
but I definitely do like that Pat Beverly went to Milwaukee because I definitely think they need him. They need that type of voice in that locker room.
And I'm with you on that. I just feel
Yeah,
like he ain't Jimmy Butler, but I feel like the 76ers have been stuck in the same spot for years now. And I feel like Pat Bev
yeah,
would have been able to push them over the hump just with that drive that he has. Um, are they going to be able to put him and Dame on the floor at the same time?
I'm assuming he probably could be the backup.
There you go. And Dame don't play
I think,
defense like Holiday, and that's really what the issue is.
yeah,
They don't really play. They don't really got rid of all their defensive guy. Portis is really not a defensive guy. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But I got a few more. Let me see. I ain't gonna do them all. Let me see. I like the PJ Washington. Um, and to the Mavs and on the Hornets getting Grant Williams and Seth Curry and the 2027 first round draft pick. I like the Nets getting Thaddeus Young and Dennis Schroeder. Um, and like I said again, what I didn't like was I don't understand. I don't say I don't like it. I don't understand. The Suns receiving Royce O'Neal and David Reddy. Hope I said his name right. Grizzlies get a future draft pick swap and Wannabe. Did I say his right name right? Woodabe.
yeah. I think it's a wannabe. I think.
Right.
Yeah, I
As
think.
my
Yeah,
dude on the game. But and then the Nets get 3 future second round draft picks and salaries to be announced or something like that. So it's just to me, I was trying to understand like what's really going on. Like, what are y'all really like? Is the league going through money issues or something? I just don't understand. Is there some draft picks that they know for a fact that is going to be coming in the next few years that's going to change the whole dynamic of the league?
yeah. I'm not sure as far as like that is concerned. But before we get started on my
Right,
take,
right,
that huge
right,
shout out to Ty got LA. It's almost so Daryl Morey is destroying the process. The process is over, dude. The process is over. The
right,
process is dead and gone.
right.
But and I will address your comment as the night progresses. Other
Mm-hmm.
your shade comment, LA, about your old OC. But we'll talk about
Right.
that at some point during the night. I will
Right.
definitely address that
Right.
that unusual hire, but it is what it is.
Right.
We'll stick to basketball momentarily. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, I think this trade deadline. I think it just served its purpose. Where I think a few teams got a lot better. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you look at like what the Knicks did. I think you bringing in
Yeah, I forgot about Nick. Yeah.
Bogdanovich, you bring in a
Yeah.
20 point per game scorer, a
Right.
40% shooter, and he gets free from Detroit. So I mean, anytime you
Mm-hmm.
get out a free jail card out of Detroit, I
Right.
mean, it's a relief. So I like that. Then also bringing in Alex Burks. I definitely think that that would definitely help because I know a lot of people are always saying like Jalen Brunson is carrying this team and
Mm-hmm.
Julius Randle. The whole Becky Hammond comments. You can't a guy that small can't carry a team. We've always kind of heard that
Mm-hmm.
rhetoric throughout this whole season at this point. So
Mm-hmm.
it just adds to that depth of that, and obviously you see what they've been doing, especially after the OG trade, bring him
Mm-hmm.
in. I think they're like 16-3 ever since that trade, so they've been playing some great basketball. So you just look at it from that standpoint. I do like the PJ Washington to Dallas. I definitely think that's a good move, especially for Dallas, where you can get that. You get that guy. I think the fun thing with Charlotte was it was a bunch of those kind of guys, on that squad. So you bring in that type of situation. I do like the Buddy Hield to the Sixers, but the only thing, like, and they talked about it on the NBA on the Jump. Oh Lord, I'm about to get myself in trouble now. All right now. Now, what is the NBA today? I guess what it is. But anyway, they were saying like it's a great move, but until you bring in Joel Embiid back from his meniscus injury, then we want to see it. So that's concerned. But I think it's just this year was definitely lackluster, like we talked about. It's not like how it was last year where we had that blockbuster trade essentially. And it's very rare that we get a blockbuster deal like this on trade deadline. It's very rare, but we got it last year. So, like you said, I think we became spoiled to that. So I think that's where it's like, yeah, we're gonna get another one because what it is, what it is. But yeah,
I like the Monte Morris to the Timberwolves. I like that one. Because I feel like if the Timberwolves is gonna stay there, between 1 and 3, it will be good to have some playoff and some veteran presence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And somebody that gives them a little bit of physicality also. But yeah, man, like I don't know, like they've been talking about it, man. Like there's not as many stars in the league as much as it used to be, and there's superstars and there's only a few mega stars, but when you really pull back, like I think they got to do better, man, to really let fans know more and market these players a little bit better, because like what I mean, they probably don't think that they have to because they're bringing in so much revenue, but I'm telling you, they've been really focusing a lot on the WNBA and them girls playing, that's in the college right now, and how they beat out a bunch of NBA teams, which it's female college basketball. But I'm just saying, like, man, they got to figure out a way to market better some of these players. Yeah, trade deadline should be with all these content people and people doing their own vlogs and all that. Like, it just seemed like it needs to be just a little more interesting. I mean, it is interesting, but it just need to be like, I was like, okay.
Yeah, and that's like one of the things where it's just like it's always gonna be hit or miss. It's the only thing about that where it's just and I think when it comes to superstars stuff like that, I think it's just more so of, and I know they was thinking about potentially having 15 guys making an all-star roster. So I think that's another thing where that could potentially help as far as getting, being able to see these superstars. The thing, a lot of it is like, it just depends on like if you watching,
right.
It's like, as far as, because they're stars they're stars across the NBA landscape, but it's just like you said, it's just one of those where maybe it's the marketing per se or what have you, or I think it's more, I will honestly be real with you, not us, but like the mainstream media, where they can kind of control those, where we talked about like during the playing tournament, like how you look at Tyrese Halliburton. We were saying how man, that's that's a great story. It was like a playoff atmosphere in the middle of December. So but you don't get those stories because obviously if you look at when that's, like I said, not talk about us or other content creators, but there are certain networks and certain types of NBA where they're pushing narratives of the older superstars, and they're not really pushing the younger stars, like and I know people still talk about we know like Anthony Edwards, and you got good young talent in the league, you got guys in this league, but it's just sometimes you just ain't showcased properly. But let me get to some of these comments before we get to the next one here. So shout out to our guy Wildcard Mar, and so and he came on and did our Kansas City Chiefs preview, which you can check on our pretty much Facebook, Twitter, Instagram page, YouTube page. Look that up. And I actually gonna quote kind of something that he said in the preview when we talk about Super Bowl 58. So shout out to our guy Wildcard Mar. And also he had his thoughts on trade deadline. Also, you're a Lakers fan, Mar. Oh boy.
Yeah, what he say? What he
My
say?
Lakers ain't did nothing at the deadline.
Right,
Not
right.
not much they could do anyways.
Right.
Nobody is keen on helping the Lakers nowadays. You're right. You are completely right.
So I have a rebuttal for that. And
Mhm.
it's not long. My rebuttal for that is like I was like Miami don't seem like it's good to me, right? But one thing Miami do they only have probably like they got some they can have there's a couple dudes on I think it'd be big like Hero could be a bigger star. Jimmy Butler if he want he's a superstar, but if he want to be he could, but he don't want to. They got a couple guys that can ball, but they play defense, and I think if you get them in the playoffs, they're gonna be a problem. You know what I mean? Because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not a lot of teams playing defense. And so I think they kind of like just going through the motion until they get into the playoff. And I think the Lakers doing the same thing because they
Yeah.
can easily beat anybody and then at the same time lose to anybody. But once they turn their defense up, they already, you know what I'm saying? Then that's what I thought about. I said, because I've been watching them. They're on a 3-game winning streak. If they win tonight, it really should tell people something because they're going up against the champions. But I really believe they're going to try to get Dinwiddie.
Yeah, in the buyout market, yeah, because he went to
Mm-hmm.
Toronto, right? That's
Yeah.
right, because he went to Toronto. Yeah, he
And
definitely ain't going
And
over
is
there.
Victor Odolipo did he got waived? Is he still hurt? Is he hurt or something, or he
Oh,
trying to be in a
because
buyout?
I think he went to Houston, but I don't know that situation because remember he got traded.
Yeah, I heard.
He was
What
in
I
that.
was saying
Yeah, he was in
online, they
that.
said he was waived.
Oh, he
That
was
they was.
Wade. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I mean he's supposed. Yeah, yeah, because I knew he got. Well, he got traded to Houston or something like that because he was a part of that. Who was it that Steven Adams deal on he or something like that? I
Mm-hmm.
forgot what part of the deal he was, but yeah. So yeah, that's it's just kind of one of the things
Is,
where
is Steven Adams out for the year?
I don't know,
Because
but
if he's not and he comes back and they able to do a play, he gonna be dangerous. That team gonna be dangerous.
yeah, yeah. Turn the defense up is turn the defense is up is fine. We still need some offense. Rely on AD and Braun who are far away from getting hurt.
Yeah, I mean they are B, but I'm just saying
Yeah,
when you really sit back and look, man, it ain't really nobody really out there. Like you could
yeah.
easily say Murray, but they gonna end up falling into doing the same thing. Kyrie is a beast, but he's still somewhat of a liability because he get hurt a lot too. Like it's really when you look around, it ain't really it's nothing. Like they probably need to get I like that point guard that played for Memphis. That's with the Wizards. Like I wish they would have got him. He could have came off the bench,
Oh,
games of scoring. D'Lo's not
that's
bad.
right.
D'Lo's issue is he stays out of position. He tends to put them in situations like D'Lo. Sometimes he'll go down and shoot a three when they don't really need to shoot a three. You know what I'm saying? For him to be a point guard, he's got to be smarter than that.
Yeah, big
That's
time.
his only issue. But he's trying.
Yeah. So we got it's very interesting. Our next topic that we're gonna discuss. I'm gonna queue up the video momentarily. It should be coming up shortly. Let me get that squared away. And before we get going, fair use, and we'll get that video momentarily. All right, and we'll play it right now for you. And this is Austin Rivers. He's a contributor to what I call it. I can't call it a jump no more. NBA Today.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously he's there now. And he was discussing Bronny James. So we'll play that right now for you guys. And
many believe Bronny James will declare. I mean, I think it doesn't happen.
What do you mean?
I don't want to see Bronny play with his dad. I really don't.
Why?
If he is to go in the draft or if he gets picked, it'd be great to get picked up by a contending team that could help him, put him in a situation because he does have talent. He does have basketball IQ. He has potential. Him going and play with his dad at this point in his career, just because Bronny's success isn't at a top tier level,
right?
Him getting drafted and playing with his dad, I don't want that negativity to come his way because he doesn't deserve it. LeBron James is the most popular basketball player to ever play, other than who? Maybe Michael Jordan?
Right.
It just would be a lot, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I hope for the kid that he's able to not only play in the NBA, but play somewhere where he can kind of niche out his own identity. His name's already Bronny. You know what I mean? Everything that we talk about with him, it always kind of folds back to his dad, rightfully so. He plays for USC, and his dad plays down the street for the Lakers. It's just an insane situation, and the way he's handled it, I'm a fan of Bronny. I really am, but I hope it goes somewhere else. I really do. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen. I don't.
All right. So we got that here. So we'll get that. Let me get us back into frame. All right. So what was your thoughts on the video that we just seen about Austin Rivers pretty much doesn't want Bronny to play alongside his father, LeBron James?
Right. I think he's speaking from experience from the time I guess he played with the Clippers. But man, he always seemed like to me he had some issues with that because they probably treated him a certain. I don't know. Maybe they treated him some type of way in the league, and maybe he's just speaking from experience. But it seemed like to me, like and LeBron has spoken. Bronny already kind of like made his way of how he wanted to do things. You know what I mean? If he didn't want to most likely go to college, he probably didn't have to. If he didn't want to play ball, he didn't have to. Bronny kind of made that decision. That's what he said. You know what I'm saying? On the shop, that's what he said. He said Bronny's already is doing his own thing. So, and then they got a different bond, seem like too. You know what I mean? So, I've been saying for you, I'm ready for LeBron kind of retire, so I don't have a problem with it. You know, it would be, I guess it would be kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? But man, Bronny's his own man.
And shout out to guy Ward Carmar. See, I actually agree with Rivers. If I was Bronny, I would want to make my own identity.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you too, Mar. I think my situation, and I think this was just more so to show you some of the context of it. But he also mentioned, like, as far as, and I agree with Austin Rivers, and I think just a simple fact of how he was treated when he was with the Clippers with Doc,
right.
Because a lot of people looked at him was like, well, the only reason why you're on this team is because your father.
Right.
And you look at it because I think it's a great point now because you're seeing people actually having him as being drafted in the 2024 NBA draft, which is crazy to think somebody who is averaging nearly 6 points a game is slated to be in this year's NBA draft. And it's kind of one of those where if he comes out this year, which I hope he does not, he's gonna be same thing. Just if he goes to, we're saying just a hypothetical example, if he goes to get drafted by the Lakers, that's everybody's sentiment is gonna be like he's only there because LeBron is there. And that's going to be the issue because what's going to happen when LeBron James retires from the league? Like if he'll be, Bronny could be potentially a 22, 23-year-old kid that's out the league because of the fact that, Bronny's not there. And like we've talked about this before all this, we talked about this when he was at Sierra Canyon. Like, to me, it would be a sad show where if an owner becomes, they want this because of the money and what have you, but it's not going to be in the best interest of Bronny. It'll be probably the best interest for the team, LeBron James, because they essentially don't have nothing to lose. But Bronny does, because if he wants to be like his father and have the longevity, 20 plus years in the NBA, he's not going to get that if he's in a point now where people want him to come out now, averaging 5.6 points per game in his freshman year. And my thing is, and then you even look at it now where people are even saying, well, people watch USC games because it's Bronny James, or why he has, almost grossing nearly $7 million in NIL money is because of his father. Man. So I definitely agree with Austin. I mean, and I think it's funny because how he came up, obviously, at this point, if we're comparing to how Austin was as a freshman in college compared to Bronny, he could definitely speak to it more of it because of he was more prolific. I mean, he was the number one player in the country coming into Duke, and he came into Duke, and from that, so it's just one of those where I agree with him. I mean, I think the only person in this world that don't agree with him is Steven Jackson, who said he was a scrub. But it's the funny thing about it is you're
Right.
proving his point. You're proving his point by calling him a scrub because why would you call him a scrub? Like,
Um,
yeah.
I think I think they're still trying to. I think that was part of the plan. I don't think he's coming out this year because if everybody remember, he was unhealthy over the summertime. So even now, I think they want to prove that he can still play. I don't even think he's pushing himself as hard um, as people are telling him that he probably can. Matter of fact, Gil said it. He said, "Man, I'm telling him, hey man, go out and do you." You know, it seemed like he kind of holding back some. I guess to get the confidence and comfortableness to play. Because sometimes when I watch, I was like, man, I know he could do more. But so I don't want him to come out now because I want him to get a couple years because so he can get his nerves right. You know, that he can get back to being comfortable and having like the true confidence of playing basketball because he is nasty. He can play. You know what I mean? But you can look at him and see it ain't like it was before. Like it's something, you know what I mean? Look, you can look when I look at him, I kind of be like, man, he don't seem like he's all the way there, or mentally, he don't think that he's all the way there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because you gotta think to yourself, with him having that cardiac arrest, and you think to
Right.
yourself, it's a mental thing where it's like, do I really want to get my heart rate back up
Right.
again like it was in July, and this could potentially happen. So just trying to get that all together, and like you said, but I think he's, like I said, I just hope when it's all said and done with, like you said, and this the wild card Moss point where to avoid the nepotism narrative, carve your own mark in the NBA, because and that's the thing, like with Austin, because Austin was still in the league doing his thing. Now imagine when he's with the Clippers, he was already had an established NBA career. So then that narrative came into his to that play because I mean and think about how he is. Doc Rivers was a good NBA. He was a solid NBA player. He was obviously great on those Hawks teams, great on those Pat Riley Knicks teams.
Right.
But he definitely ain't LeBron James. Like he's not the leading scorer in NBA history. So he it's almost like they have the inverse in a sense, where it's like but yeah, it's just to me, it's just like it's just one of those things. Like I think he needs to just go somewhere like Austin said, where they have a plan in place for him. They're going to invest in him. They're going to coach him right because his goal is to have longevity in the NBA. I think if he goes somewhere where it's a shit show, he could be out the league instantly. So I don't know, but
but it's understandable. But I'm sure that they already know that. Like I said, LeBron had talked about it. But he said that's what Bronny want to do. But I mean, look at the Manny. Like I remember when Eli was drafted, he was with San Diego and he didn't want to be there, so he got to go where he wanted to go. You know what I mean? He wanted to be in a bigger market. So you got to use the leverage that you have. But I'm not downplaying Austin Rivers because you could clearly, to me, he never really got a chance. To me, I thought that he was nasty. It just seemed like in the league, he never really got a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there's a lot of it
chains
too.
on him. He always seemed like he had chains on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's and even into his right, he had like maybe like a 10-year career. I think he was in the league for about 10 plus years. So yeah, and that's what you want, from especially if you're looking at it from Bronny perspective, that you want to have multiple years in this league. But yeah, so let's see. Yeah. So we definitely got it's funny. It's always some interesting stuff coming up on Super Bowl week. It's always a very crazy week for a lot of news stories. But we had an interesting news story that came down the turnpike on Tuesday, where essentially it was announced that ESPN, Fox Sports, Warner Brothers, Discovery are planning to launch a joint streaming service this fall. And what that pretty much translates is essentially You'll have the ability to watch various networks like ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, all the ESPNs, SEC, ACC. Then on the Fox Spectre, you got Fox, FS1, FS2, Big Ten Network, TNT, TBS, and True TV. And then also you'll be able to ESPN Plus. So pretty much when you and pretty much the Cliff Notes version, this joint venture will carry NFL games, including next year's Super Bowl, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, playoffs, NASCAR, FIFA, and also the NCAA tournament, which obviously, if you know TNT, TBS, and True TV is under that umbrella, obviously, and then how that's going to pan out. Now, at this point, they have not announced the price. I would assume there'll be some sticker shock, but as currently as we hear on February 8th, 2024, without a price tag, what's your thoughts on this potentially joint streaming service coming out in the fall?
Comfort. Like, you know, I think that's what we pay for. You know what I mean? So all of them being together, I think, like I said, I think it was 2011 where I had DirecTV and they were saying how we needed to write our congressman and all this other stuff because cable was charging too much. They was like these channels was charging too much and they don't want our bill to go up. You know, so it's gonna be expensive. I got the weirdest feeling it's gonna be expensive, but it's, you know, we pay for comfort. You know what I mean? You pay for comfortability, you know, so if you're gonna pay for it. Like people, especially for sports fans. And you know, like it'd be different if we could just get a package where we just want certain things. You know what I mean? That would be great. You know what I mean? Hell, I pay for the ad one. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? That the ads could be able that come off cheaper. But I'm not negative. Like I have a Fire Stick. I haven't had cable in years, so I'm not knocking it. You know, I just downloaded my brother's conference application, and it was free. And if I'm only watching New Mexico, but I could watch everybody else in that conference and watch their games. You know what I mean? I could watch their live games, and it was free. It's great. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
it's great. Again, it was free. I'll say it again. You know what I mean? You know?
It's gonna be interesting. Like I said, I think this is something that I've always kind of wanted. In the prehistoric days, like as far as when we thought we didn't need cable, but now it's almost to a point where we might need to get cable back. But I find all this very, very interesting because it's funny, and I read the article and it said and the Super Bowl too. Now, obviously, next year's Super Bowl is gonna be on Fox. So, and we've gone down this beaten path where, and I'm not saying this is going to happen in 2025, but like the whole thing with the Peacock, the Amazon Prime, Paramount, which I think they say Paramount might be sold to somebody, which that's probably going to be another tangled web of confusion of mess. Like you said, I think, like I said, that's how I preface it. It sounds like a fantastic idea, but as the months and days progress, I think we'll get a sticker shock. And I think, like you said, I know people have been saying maybe $20 to like $40 something, like high end, low end, like right around that range. But we all know how that stuff happens. It might be a nice, sweet, because they're going to get you with probably an introductory rate. And then it's going to go up because now when you sit down and think about it, these, the licensing to carry these game of broadcasting rights and all that, it's going to sky high. So every time there's a increase as far as when it comes to when it's time to negotiate with these with these leagues, who's going to get the effect of those other rise of prices? It's going to be the consumer. Because, so it's kind of one of those things where I like it in theory, but I think it's going to get to a point where it's going to be super expensive. and it's gonna be like almost like a YouTube TV like thing where, you looked at that, it's like, oh, that's even better. But now, like you said, the comfort of it. So that's how they're going to hike that price and kind of get you, kind of make you sell it on it because, well, because I think like Sling TV is two different packages, so you would have to get like two packages to get Fox and ESPN together. Like I think I forgot, it was like an orange and a yellow. I don't know if they still do that, but I remember I was looking into that yellow and orange. So I think not yellow. I mean orange and blue. And I think orange was the one that had Fox and blue had ESPN. So if you one was like 25, the other one was 25. So if you put it together, it was like $50 something, something like that. It was kind of like a way to bundle it. But yeah, it's gonna be so expensive. And like you said, I mean, there's an app for that, but we keep the legalities. The
best
legalities.
Bet is hopefully, whatever internet service you got, that they give you some type of discount a month or have some free stuff. You know what I mean? That's your best. That's hopefully that's what happens.
That or like you said, that or potentially like your internet service provider, somebody who gives you, or like your phone company, like T-Mobile gives you like Netflix or whatever, like because Verizon, I think Verizon do NFL stuff, I think, and I know like with Metro, I get Amazon, it's like, and I've been grandfathered in, so
right, so it's like you can't. It's like they're not trying to make it cheaper; they're just trying to make it be more comfortable. It's like they're like, okay, look, this is gonna be expensive, but look what you get for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And what they're gonna do with that, like you said, and that's gonna essentially eliminate cable in a sense, where it's gonna be like your option, like you said. Well, where can you get this at this price? You get all of these channels. You get all these live games, live sports. You're not gonna get that anywhere else. I mean, you can get it somewhere else, but as far as having all these together, I mean, you can get it like through Hulu, like I said, Sling, I think YouTube TV, but then you look at the exorbitant amount of those of how much those apps cost compared to where I can just give you what you want, because now this is like a tailored experience. Like for me, it'd be perfect for somebody like me because in theory, I don't watch TV. I either watch the news or I watch sports. That's the only thing I do.
Exactly what they said.
Yeah. So and that's why and I've even said this even back in the prehistoric days, like as far as when we had cable, because you think oh man, we got like 800 channels. Why can't we just have a situation where we have like a bundle where because I mean, why would I get cable? I don't watch Lifetime. I don't watch Hallmark. I don't watch HGTV.
Right.
So it's like, be careful what you ask for. but yeah, and like you said, and that's what and it makes sense for all these to come together. But I think you said like the price tag. Oof.
Like like me, I watch TV. I watch shows. I watch movies. But one thing I got Prime. I got I got the Fire Stick. You know what I mean? I got Netflix. I somewhat got Hulu. The only cable channel I got is Stars because of 50 Cent shows. But when all said and done, you know what they don't do? They really don't promote their stuff like they should. So I have to be like in the 80s going to the movie store. I gotta really see an actor or maybe and see what movies they got coming out, or just it's really hard because you don't really. Like, for instance, what I'm saying is you watch sports, y'all is going to be a lot easier than somebody like me that like to watch movies and series because they actually promote sports. They don't really promote stuff like they do. They don't really promote. And that's their really downfall. Like, like when I was talking to somebody, I was watching Monique on Club Shay Shay, and one thing I got from her was she made things better by promoting. Like, she didn't know that she was doing that, though, by going on all these different things to promote. So like promotion is very highly important. If they do what they say they're going to do, right? How would you feel if they ask you what's your favorite teams? Because the one thing about cable, because like I said, I got the Fire Stick. I can watch a lot of games where my dad, who has cable, I said, man, did you see the Lakers game last night? Or did you see this? And he'd be like, nah, because he's watching cable. So like, of course you got TNT and ESPN, and then you got the NBA network. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he like, nah, I didn't even know they had a game last night. So that'd be cool if they ask you what's your favorite team and you have access to your favorite
Yeah.
teams.
And which that's what like the league pass. See, that's another thing too, where that's what league pass come into play, and then also with Sunday Ticket, where they're separate entities, and that's where it's
Right.
like, and like we talked about with the apps, and we just like how what we thought was a convenience for us is
Mm-hmm.
gonna backfire in our face. It's
Yeah.
literally like the signs experience the volcano exploding everywhere. Pause. But yeah. That's
The
what you
bus.
see.
Pause.
Pause. But yeah, I think in theory that's where it ultimately boils down to, because I think that's where, because you're gonna need all of that. Like, because if you do the Sunday Ticket, with NBA is a little bit different, because I think but unless you're blacked out in the market, like say for instance, if you like if I think is it I forgot what's the blackout rules. I think if you sell out or you don't sell out, I think if you don't sell out, you don't get to see the game. It's blacked out in your area. I forgot what the blackout typically what it truly means. But like the NFL, like you can watch the games, but like I don't know if the Super Bowl is on well no, it's like when we talked about the playoff game against Kansas City and Miami, where the people who had Sunday Ticket, they weren't able to see that. They had to watch it on Peacock.
Right.
And I think that's where we're gonna start having exclusive games. And that's where I think that's where we're gonna really mess up ultimately.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we're paying for comfort. I was just telling my daughter that it's you're looking at the value of that, and you're looking for comfort. And like what I mean? Like sometimes you'll pay extra to park closer. You know what I mean? Like you just it's just you paying. That's really what you're paying for. Like if it's gonna give you the best sports, the best opportunity to watch sports, and you ain't got to be turning, and you ain't got to be watching, and you're trying to watch something, and it's loading or scroll. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But they know this too. You guys are loyal. Like I'm a sports fan too, but I'm not like you and some of the other podcast brothers and sisters. But you guys, most likely pay for anything. You know what I'm saying? They say sports fans are going to pay. Like you said, a lady got not pay for a $9 Pepsi.
Yeah, yeah. What her husband did.
You know how much gas is?
Right. And like and this is like perfect example now, as we get ready to transition and talk about the Super Bowl, where you look at the price of a ticket, I think was like it went up to like the lower end, like not the lower, but the higher up seats. It was like almost $12,000. And everything, and that's just the price of it. And then you look at just like going to games and going, how that experience is still within reach for us normal folk. But like going to like the Super Bowl, that's out of pretty much a 9 to 5 blue collar person, without their reach. I mean, you think to yourself, $12,000 tickets, and like even they had a suite that's worth like $2 million, and I mean it's wild. But
and that's what I'm saying. Like it's like, where does money coming from? Everybody able to do that? That's what I'm trying to say.
Your guess is good as mine, because I need some of that. I definitely need some of that matriculating through my bank account so I can live that type of life. But yeah, so guess we'll get into our Super Bowl preview. It is that time. It is a very, very interesting Super Bowl 58 as we have the San Francisco 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. So we will get going with our preview. So first, before we get started, we definitely got to talk about some storylines to watch in Super Bowl 58. Mal, what's your stories to watch in Super Bowl 58?
I really didn't do storyline, but I'll say this:
Okay.
is Brock Purdy as good as is Brock Purdy going to show as good? Is Brock Purdy going to show that he can handle the pressure, that he can handle the lights, that he can handle everything of being in the Super Bowl? Is he going to show that he is a true elite quarterback? Because it seems like that's this question that everybody's saying that he needs he has the help to win the Super Bowl. For the Chiefs, are they going to keep being magical? I'm gonna leave it like that. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like they've had some magic over these years, and are they still going to have the magic to win another Super Bowl? And that's just me freestyling. I apologize.
It's all good. I got 30 of them. Now I got.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna narrow it down. I'm gonna narrow it down I got a few.
Let's go.
So obviously, first off, the Tre'Davious Ward Bowl. Obviously, Tre'Davious Ward played with the Kansas City Chiefs when they won in 2020.
Uh-huh.
Now he plays with the San Francisco 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the Kansas City Chiefs on their end, chasing history. Can they be the first repeat champion since the 2004 and 2005 New England Patriots to do that? Will Kadarius Toney play? I mean, obviously there's been some speculation, but as far as is he a healthy scratch or not, that as well. Then let's see, who will be the unsung hero in this for both teams? Then you got son like father, where you'll have two guys. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey and Kyle Shanahan. Could they do the same thing that their father did, where Ed McCaffrey won a Super Bowl with the San Francisco 49ers with his offensive coordinator Mike Shanahan, and then end up going to Denver and winning 2 championships with then head coach Mike Shanahan. So could that be something there? Will Mr. Irrelevant be relevant in this matchup, where you look at it, and he's only the third Mr. Irrelevant to play at a Super Bowl. He's the first to ever start. The only two has been a kicker and a linebacker, but amazing.
Right.
Obviously, we like Mr. Super Bowl 54. Obviously, repeat, not a repeat, but similar, where they played each other 4 years ago. The battle of coaches. I mean, obviously, you're looking at Andy Reid going for his third Super Bowl title versus Kyle Shanahan, who's going for his first. I mean, could potentially win his first one. And then can Kyle Shanahan overcome his past, where you think about, and it's sad to say in his tenure, he's blew the two biggest leads in Super Bowl history. Obviously, one as an offensive coordinator when they were up 28-3 versus the Pittsburgh. The New England Patriots. Yeah, New England Patriots, and in the Super Bowl. At that time, he was the Falcons offensive coordinator, and then obviously in Super Bowl 54, where the 49ers had a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter of that game, and ended up ultimately losing by 10, with Kansas City run off 21 straight points. So tons of storylines in this game, and it's going to be a good one. It's just that's just the beginning.
You got some more?
So I think that's it. Yeah, I trimmed it. I trimmed it as much as I could. Yeah, so they pretty much cover all the bases. Yeah, it's so many. Right. It's so many storylines in this game, which it's going to make the game even better. So we gotta talk about some players and coaches that we are particularly rooting for. Who you got?
Man, I don't have that many, right? Because I really, out of the team, I really don't want the 49ers to win. I definitely don't want the Chiefs to win. But yeah, I'm not a hater. What did I put down? I forgot that Farrell played for the 49ers.
Yep.
So I will be entirely too in trouble if I don't say I'm rooting for him. Yep. I'm not rooting for the 49ers on me. I ain't even gonna lie to you. And I like Kelsey, man. Like I feel like Kelsey, you're already I think this year, even with the Taylor Swift thing, I think that they're pushing him to be more like a superstar. Like he already got the Super Bowls and everything. He's like the new Gronk. You know what I'm saying? If I had to compare him to somebody, but he's just a little more swaggy with it, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I like Kelsey. My dad used to talk about him years ago, and he was like, "Man, he messed." I think he from somewhere. My dad was telling me, but yeah, I'm riding with Kelsey.
Yeah, he from was it Cleveland Heights?
Yeah, right. My dad told me
Yeah.
that. So he was
Hmm.
telling me that. So yeah, I'm definitely riding with him.
Yeah. If you have listened to Couch Coach Live in the 9 years and 7 months that we've been on,
Oh God,
you already know. You know the number one person I'm rooting for is Cal Shanahan. I'm
you
rooting for
know
Cal
it.
Shanahan. Cal Shanahan for sure. Like I think, I'm definitely I root for that brother. I'll always root for him in the game of life. Um, Trent Williams. Trent Williams, obviously, obviously former Redskin. Chase Young, I root for him. Let's see, Brock Purdy. I'm definitely rooting for him.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few other guys that I really want. Hargraves. Obviously, he was a part of that Eagles team last year and fell
Mm-hmm.
short. So hopefully, he get opportunity to win here. For the Chiefs, I'm definitely rooting for L'Jarius Sneed. I think
Mm-hmm.
I really like him. I think he's a sleeper. Like he's somebody who I think a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people sleep on him, but I think I would say the casual sleep on him. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the dude's been balling. He's been locking up receiving. I think a lot of I put it this way. I don't think he's slept on. I think he's underappreciated. I think that might be the
Right.
best word to kind of with Sneed. Um, Obviously, I'm for the Chief wise. Who else I'm rooting for? Chris Jones, because I think this is gonna be his last soiree
Mm.
in Chiefs because they can't afford him. I mean, but and then because obviously they don't have my former commanders, in the past, like we had like Brashard Breeland, at the time,
Mm-hmm.
Kendall Fuller, so those guys are no longer on that team. So those are the kind of guys that I'm rooting for. Um, Definitely, and obviously with San Francisco, obviously, like just consider the fact that their assistant general manager is now our general manager with the commander.
Mm-hmm.
So trust me. I mean, I'm rooting for Adam Peters, even though he's on our side now, but he helped kind of build this current 49ers team. So yeah.
Is Chase Young playing?
Yeah. I mean, I know there's been rumors that he might be benched, but I mean, I put it this way. I haven't got those rumors aren't from like official sources. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like they're not the Ian Rappaport's or uh Adam Schefter, Josina Anderson, you know, those folks
Mm-hmm.
that got that they got boots on the ground. The boots on the ground folks. I don't I've heard that from somewhere else, but I don't know how reliable the source is at this point. You know how it is with the Twitter
So
and all that.
he
So
he played for y'all. Do you think they might? Because he don't seem like the type of person that you would just bench. Because he seemed like he's always been a top guy. Do you think they just saying that because for discipline or to motivate him or
I
bring
think
something
it's
out of him
I think
if
they're
it was
saying
to happen?
because he's not playing up to par. Like as far
Mm-hmm.
as there is some plays where it looks like I wouldn't say he takes a play off or so, but you can tell like in some of his assignments, shit like yeah, he blew that. And he had that problem in Washington in the sense where I think a lot of people like sometimes he would just go out like somewhat off the beaten path and kind of freelance it and kind of do what he need to do. But I mean, I don't necessarily think he'll be benched. I mean, it's a possibility, but no one really has stated, as far as official. I mean, there's been rumblings, but nobody as far as a confirmed NFL source that's literally on the ground is saying it. So I mean, it's possible, but I just until they say something, I really don't believe it. It's just like how when it comes to NBA stuff, like if it ain't Shams or Woj,
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe it. Like people say, "Oh, you was here. Oh, you need to take a picture, so we believe you there." That's how I feel with them. It's like unless they say something, I shut my mouth.
Okay.
But it's a potential. But yeah,
But I just was asking. I was gonna say him too. Him being from. I just remember how you Commanders were so
yeah,
hyped up about him, and for him to
Chase, yeah,
actually come from being a top guy for your team, and then damn paying for the 49ers and about to be in the Super Bowl, like you know what I mean. But then I was hearing
yeah,
all that. I'm like, well, damn, what is he doing?
yeah,
He looked like
man.
he was a baller. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, hey, that's also I root for Chase as well. I don't know if I mentioned him
I
as
remember
well,
that
but
divisional championship y'all got.
yeah, I mean Chase. I mean, it's a great story. I mean, who'd have thunk? Who'd have thunk on Halloween? Trick or treat. He wasn't the trick. He was the treat. He went to San Francisco and could potentially win a Super Bowl. So I mean, hey,
Right,
all power to him, all love to
right.
him. He's a great guy. So he is though. I mean, he cool. He cool. He good people's man.
He's so loyal, bro. Like
No, but Chase.
just,
No, but Chase. I tell Chase. So I met Chase.
yeah, no, but
I
I'm
met
just saying
Chase.
in
Yeah,
general, man. I don't care anybody that plays for you. That's why I said I don't care. I'm a Steeler. All the
yeah,
fans in the world, the Washington football team, Washington Commanders, y'all are the best fans because y'all not
yeah.
obnoxious. Y'all don't go over the top. Y'all prideful. And you know what? You can actually sit there and eat food and watch the game, and y'all be Washington down from head to toe. Ain't one in a while, but y'all ain't even tripping. Y'all still loyal. Y'all, if it ain't looking bad, y'all know y'all going through some things. Y'all still talk y'all trash. But
Shoot.
but like I understand that the boys have been in the playoffs, but they've been in the same boat.
Yeah, but shoot, don't be in them in the commanders groups and stuff, man. They'll frustrate the hell out of you. No, I'm like, oh, that's why I don't go on Facebook and stuff during games, none of that type of stuff. I don't go on social media during games because everybody be ready to get rid of somebody. God, you throw an interception, it ain't even the quarterback fault. It's a tip. It's a tip ball.
Right.
Balls,
Right.
and it's just like y'all know that wasn't his fault, right? Or like all the offensive line suck. Like no,
I like
he
y'all
held the
quarterback.
ball for 3 seconds. Like
Right.
that's why he got sacked on that particular play.
Right. I like y'all
So
quarterback. I
yeah,
liked y'all
yeah,
last. I liked it Heineke, and I like y'all quarterback y'all got now.
yeah.
And I don't like how
People
they
hate him.
disrespecting him. I don't like how they disrespecting him. And I'm telling you,
Yeah,
get the right people around him to bring him. He gonna be all right.
yeah. I think they're gonna.
Me
They
too.
probably get the quarterback. They'll get a quarterback, unfortunately,
Yeah.
because it's just with this new regime. But yeah, I love Sam Howell. I've defended him to the end, and and they saying about him. I'm just like
I know
it's
we gotta
another
move
one where
on.
it's just like,
But
but
how do you
yeah.
think Cleveland feel about getting rid of Baker Mayfield
I mean,
and
I
having
think
to
they'd be all
pay?
right.
But they paying Deshaun a lot of money, and they really in the same. They was in the same boat that they
I
were
mean,
been. They've been in.
but it speaks to how good that team is. Once you get the quarterback and he plays, like, I mean, I would be still, happy. I mean, he still made it to the playoffs, and we hoping, and I might be outside chance. I know we got NFL hours, NFL honors in about an hour or so.
Mhm.
I don't know if Kevin Stefanski could be the coach of the year, but the job he's did, I mean, is really commendable because a lot of people who are down to a fifth string quarterback, they had to fly Joe Flacco out in November. He on a commercial flight heading to
Word. Yeah,
Cleveland
you're right. You're right.
in the playoffs. So I mean,
You know
they
what I
have to
mean, though.
figure it out. Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, the
Mm.
money wise, but I mean, yeah, but I mean, they still had a great season despite, so the expectation definitely gonna be high for them next year.
Right.
If you have a healthy Deshaun Watson, hell, you might have to keep Flacco, or whatever, and then that's the crazy thing about all that. Yeah, most teams will fold. I mean, you look at, it's funny that we talked about it. You see, like, where we could have been talking about the San Francisco 49ers last year if Josh Johnson wasn't starting in his football game last year against the Eagles, and then he gets a concussion, and essentially they just, it's just Christian McCaffrey in the second half, and that's it. So,
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's a very unfortunate situation, but they got it through. But definitely huge shout out to the Browns, man. Hopefully Stefanski can win tonight.
Right.
Coach of the year potentially, but it's probably D'Amico Ryans. But so in order for the San Francisco 49ers to win their 6th Super Bowl, and this will tie the New England Patriots for the most Super Bowls in franchise history, and far as the most Super Bowl wins by a franchise, they're tied the New England Patriots. So, what's your keys to a San Francisco 49ers win?
Just stay balanced between McCaffrey and Debo. That's all I really can say. I think if me personally, I think if you could keep Debo contained, they should be the 49ers. My bad. If you keep just balance between Debo and Samuels, so they gotta just keep them balanced and keep moving forward.
Yeah, I think with them, like you said, it's going to definitely be a running attack.
Yeah.
Obviously with C-Mac and also Debo as well. Because Christian McCaffrey, they're 12-1 when he rushes over 75 yards. And we know, like in the past with Kyle Shanahan, he has neglected the run. Obviously, you look at, like we talked about, the last 2 stints, him as OC in Atlanta, and then also when he was a coach in San Francisco. And in those games, they had 12 or less rushing attempts each game combined. So now it's a different story. You got a guy like a CMC that can definitely get it going. Brock Purdy, I think if he can be able to, break this blitz, because Spags, I think they blitz it literally like 37% of the time. So they literally throw the kitchen sink at him all the time. And the crazy thing about with Brock Purdy is he's actually pretty good against the blitz. I mean, he had 15 touchdowns and 2 interceptions when he's been facing blitz this season. So it's really going to be interesting what Spags, Steve Spagnuolo, the defense coordinator for the Chiefs, are going to kind of do for Brock, where it's like, it's kind of one of those where I want to see. It's going to be like the ultimate chess match. Like, who's going to be the one that's going to, break serve. And it's going to be definitely interesting. I think if 49ers win as well, if they win that joint, is it? Damn, I'm telling you. If this Nick Bosa, and if he beats that his one-on-one matchup with Jawan Taylor, which I think he will, because Jawan Taylor has been the most penalized O-lineman this year. So I definitely think you're going to have situations where you're going to have some holding penalties for the Chiefs. And I think Bosa can kind of run free. I mean, you look at this might be a little bit hyperbole, but he did a phenomenal job against Penei Sewell last 2 weeks ago. And and the thing, he's definitely going to have his way with Jawan Taylor. So I think if he win that matchup, and then also, he'll be able to get to Mahomes potentially. And then I think they win a turnover battle. I mean, Kansas City has turned over the football 23 times this year. And San Francisco is a really opportunistic defense where they've had 28 takeaways. So it's kind of one of those where I think if they can kind of get to a point where they turn the football over, I definitely think this could be a game that the San Francisco 49ers can win. So it's interesting. So I definitely think it's going to be their game plan is, and the thing is, and it's the key too, I think, is also too, is like in this game plan, because I know Kansas City going to come with a ferocious punch with that Spags defense, is Kyle Shanahan going to be able to take that left hook, spit that blood out, pause, and get back in the game with some design plays that kind of throw Spags defense off. So that's going to be my thing, and hopefully Cal doesn't get flustered. And I know he's had experience, but he ain't experienced as Big Red in them.
So, I agree with everything you're saying. One more thing that I wrote down, and I think it's very important. One more thing that I have wrote down, I think is very important, and it goes with what you're saying is they have got to be focused and mature to not deal with the Kansas City Chiefs tactics. The Kansas City, they've been there. So you got to deal with all those tactics. You just got to say, yeah, okay, but I'm here though. You know what I mean? And don't be flustered, and one step at a time. You should be able to do it. When I saw what Kansas City did with the Ravens, because the Ravens was better than them. And when I saw what they did, I said, oh, they were chumping them. They went in there chumping them. And I'm talking, when I say tactics, that is what Kansas City Chiefs do. No offense, that's what they do. They gonna hold you. They're either gonna call it or they not gonna call it. If they call it, we'll deal with it. You know what I mean? Because they're not gonna call it every time. You know what I mean? So, and and you know why they do that? Because they've been there and they understand this is the Super Bowl and you have to do everything you need to do to win. If you see Patrick Mahomes walking around like he got an ingrown toenail or something, don't you feed into that. Because he's going to run. You know what I'm saying? He's going to prove one time or another, like, I may be hurt, but I'm still going to run. But anyway.
Yeah. And also, and it speaks to the point, like you said, too, where, and shout out to our guy, Wild Card Mar, when he was on to do the preview for the 49ers. Now, well, not for the 49ers, but for the Chiefs, Lord. And he was saying, as far as, can they beat the bully? Can they beat the bully? Where you think to yourself, where 49ers when they lost to the Ravens, where the Ravens just came in on Christmas Day and just took them for their lunch money and their Christmas presents. They bullied it. Can you out bully the bully? And then now fast forward where the Ravens got bullied by the Chiefs, and you look at it from that standpoint there, where can they bully the bully? Can they out bully the bully? And and I think this team is way more disciplined, because even in that Baltimore game, I know a lot of people look at that game as, but they had a legitimate shot to win this football game. It came down to essentially the two plays: the Zay Flowers, the fumble at the 1 yard line, and then Lamar Jackson throwing the triple coverage to Isaiah Likely. Those two plays. Well, one of the plays would, the Zay Flowers would have at least tied the football game. The other one would have put a little mustard for the Ravens, and they potentially could be here, but not here, but in the Super Bowl 58. But it's
right.
Yeah, and that's where I look at this. This is going to be a really interesting matchup. So we talked about the 49ers, and we definitely got to talk about this defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. If they can win their fourth title, their third title in the last 5 years, in the last 5 years, what are the keys for them to achieve that goal? What you got?
It's hard for me to say that, because to me they're so unique, and I could be like, man, they need to run the ball more. Oh man, they need to do this. When I watched that Ravens game, I couldn't pinpoint on exactly what they were doing. I was shocked Kelsey was open so much as he was. I was shocked some of the stuff that they were so easy that they were able to do. So for me, I'm saying, man, stay who you are. I put stay who you are, and it showed that there's levels to being a champion. Like, you can look at all these teams, and I'm sure everybody was walking in like Kansas City is the Super Bowl champions, but you look at them like they looked horrible, kind of like during the season, like something was missing. You know what I mean? The controversy, all these different things, and then you look at them and you said it yourself. I don't know what it is, but they always figure out a way to win. And I had to look at it and say, man, we've seen this before with the Patriots, and that's really, to me, who they seem like to be. They always find a way to win. So I said, they seem like they know a way to level up higher than the competition. So that's what I wrote down. Just remember who you are. You've been there before. You got to show that you really are the stamp in the league, and you are the champions, and realize that you got to be a champion. You got to be able to go to the next level and be able to go through that door. Everybody can't do it. So to me, you got like you said, you got Patrick Mahomes there. He's going to figure out a way to get those boys motivated. He's going to figure out a way to win the ball game.
Yeah, and I think with Kansas City, like you said, and like I've always said, you can kind of throw game plan stuff out the way in a sense for Kansas City, but there are some, I think, to me, some keys for them to potentially win the game. I think obviously the first one is going to be elementary. Score over 21 points because and so they 10-0 this season when they score more than 21 points. So that's the first key. I think Isaiah Pacheco, I think he is also a guy that can run. You know, we talk about Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy, but we also talk about this 7th round pick where you look at these two guys. It's funny to think two seventh round picks in the 2022 draft will be an integral part of a Super Bowl in their second year in their second year of the NFL season. These two guys are going to be an integral part of the success of either of their teams. As you know, I think Isaiah Pacheco, run the ball effectively. They'll give them an opportunity. I think the key is going to be the pressure to Brock Purdy. I think the ones that I think will really potentially get home is Chris Jones and George Kalafis. They're two double-digit sack guys this year, so they could have a potential where I think if Brock Purdy doesn't beat that blitz and they get pressure on Brock Purdy, I think it could be a tough day for him potentially. I definitely think if you do that, and I definitely think like we talk about those two guys, I think they could definitely do it. There's some individual matchups that I like. As far as for Kansas City, if they could potentially beat these assignments, I think they'll be fine. We look at like Justin Reed versus George Kittle. I think that's going to be key. I think Justin Reed is. I think for him, I think he is key. I think he's going to be one of those guys where he could definitely have a tremendous impact. Trent McDuffie versus Debo potentially in that. And you look at Kansas City. The beauty about their defense is that pass defense. So if they can kind of win some of those matchups, I think they have a legitimate shot to win this football game. And then also limited turnovers, and that's where you look at it now, where 23 turnovers. You look at that, yeah, that's a lot, but they have buttoned that. That issue has been resolved in this playoff run. It's like Patrick Mahomes been playing great football. I don't even remember last time he's thrown an interception. So it's like it's one of those where they button it up. I mean, he was phenomenal. I mean, he was 30 for 39 last not last week, but in the AFC Championship game. And that's where it's crazy to think, like with Patrick Mahomes, even though, because we've always said this about Patrick Mahomes, where his first year being an MVP, there's going to be some down years. Now, a lot of people are going to take that into effect. Where I think he's going, like I always said, he's going to have the overachievement syndrome. And even with the way he's had this year, I mean, this year hasn't been the best. 27 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, but that's another thing that has been buttoned up. That Pat Mahomes isn't turning football anymore. You see the drops have dwindled, if all but have dwindled. So, and then I look at this team where they can, and the beauty thing with Kansas City, they could have an unsung hero. Like you can say the same thing for San Francisco, but you can have a guy on Kansas City that can make a play that can change the course of this game. I know if we're going back to last year, you look at guys like Sky Moore made a huge play, scoring. Yeah, Juju, Kadarius Toney made a play. So you look at just those type of situations where Kansas City, they have the unsung hero, like Valdez Scalding made that play to pretty much ice the game in the AFC Championship game, where people, because I don't know about anybody else, but when Pat threw it to him and then he caught it pretty much on his back, it's kind of one of those where it's like, holy cow! Like,
Right.
because now if this would have
The
been
Magic.
a Sunday game, Sunday 4:00 in the afternoon against the Denver Broncos, he would have dropped it. But that just that's where when we talk about these things with the Kansas City Chiefs, it's like it's almost it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Right.
They are this team. Don't think this is that team that lost to the Raiders on Christmas Day, or
That's what I'm
that
saying.
had a blunder against the Denver
Right.
Broncos, or or went to bed against Cincinnati Bengals. No, no. You throw all the misconception, what you perceived, what you did to the Kansas City Chiefs
Right.
in the regular season, and you can throw it out the window. Like I talked about the 23 turnovers. Had they even turned the football over in this playoff run? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but that's the Chiefs for you.
But you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
What if this is just allegedly, this is not, I don't know, but what if to motivate them, Andy Reid say, hey, this is really gonna be my last. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you feel me? And then they go out there and ball out because they know that's his last. And then he say, I'm retiring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm saying that because, like you said, it'll make you as a player say, man, like, okay, I got to catch every ball. Like you would think they would do that anyway, but I think sometimes they don't take it as serious as you think they should. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it is more so. I think it just goes through the motions of the season. I think sometimes when it comes to like just everything, when you are in these games, especially early in the year, you kind of want the stuff to be polished. You want it, but all it does is just set you up for situations like now, where it's like you look at like Kansas City, where this is in my personal opinion, is an unorthodox year for the Chiefs, where they're coming in 11-6. Like we said, they usually host the AFC Championship game. They usually have a bye week, or or a top seed. They was third in the AFC this year, so and then having to go to Buffalo and Baltimore in consecutive weeks. It's just this team is. I think they should show everybody that it's okay to struggle at certain points of the season. You don't want to be like, want to be rolling. In Kansas City, not Kansas City, but San Francisco the same way. Remember, they started off 5-0. Then, Debo gets hurt. Trent Williams get hurt. They had a 3-game losing streak. Then they kind of came back to reality because we was even talking about could they potentially go undefeated in the regular season. It was because at that time they were just rolling. And then they kind of had a little bump in the road. Then they, obviously – after that, then they, obviously lost it on Christmas Day. They was rolling up until Christmas Day, and then end up, because they was 5-3. Then they after Debo and Trent came back, they went on a roll. That's when they beat Philly. They saying it was like being world beaters. Then they end up losing on Christmas Day. Bottom down to earth. Obviously, they came to Washington and smoked us. And then, then week 18, they lost to the Rams, but nobody was really in that game. So, Kansas City, it was just, it's just different, man.
Yeah, like once you said that, and then what else was a trip?
Yeah.
Like you just gave something, and you said Kyle tends to run away from the run. And we all know if the Ravens would have ran the ball, which that is what the Ravens do.
Yep.
They still was, they made a little run, but it would have been a lot easier for them. And I'm telling you now, the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, they not gonna lay down. If they see an opening, they gonna go for it. They don't fit no punches, man.
But yeah, and another thing with Christian McCaffrey, he potentially could be the first player since Terrell Davis to lead the NFL in rushing and win the Super Bowl. And Terrell Davis was a part of the Denver Broncos team. Right. That was coached by Mike Shanahan. So it's kind of one of those where we have so many type of parallels in
Right.
this matchup where you just look at it from that angle, and it's like I think if when you look at it, this matchup, this ain't gonna be a 31-20 affair like we had in 2020. It's this game is really. I don't think it's gonna be as high scoring as many people envision because you think to yourself, oh, you got the high octane offense on both ends, but you also have two of the essentially they're like the top three defenses. They're the top two teams. Defensively wise, like as far as points per game and what have you. I think Kansas City is second and San Francisco is third. I think they only giving up I think Kansas City is giving up 17.3 or 17.2. And I think San Francisco is like 17.5. And when we talk about defense wins championships, this could be it. Like you said, I think it will be a defensive and like you said, and that not I said, but as far as I think this will be a matchup where I think, in my personal opinion, somebody on defense is going to make a play. And I think just almost just like what Snead did in the AFC Championship game, where essentially, if it wasn't for Snead, Kansas City wouldn't have been here. That's who really has essentially carried this team. Even though you got Patrick Mahomes, like we talked about his, he had an unorthodox year because normally, you think to yourself, the quarterback that was 24, 27, and 14 touchdown and interceptions. You're like, I mean, that's decent, but it ain't, So, hey, I'm telling you, it's gonna be definitely a fun game. So we got the $1 million question. We got to give our scoring prediction and our MVP of Super Bowl 58. Who you got?
You said scores, right?
Yeah, score and your MVP.
Okay. I got the cheat. I got the 32 to 27. MVP Kelsey.
Okay. All right. So I have the score 49ers 21, Kansas City 17, and Christian McCaffrey, C-Mac, because I think C-Mac's going to be the MVP. I think Brock Purdy is going to have a game. I don't know if it was either Mar or Box. I'm not sure because Box did our preview for the 49ers. I don't think Brock's going to get 2 touchdowns. I think C-Mac probably going to score two of them tubs potentially. So because a part of me I don't think they're going to trust their field goal kicker Jake Moody for San Francisco. So it's kind of one of those where I could definitely see them winning 21-17, and Christian McCaffrey is the Super Bowl MVP. But
I got the Chiefs 32 and 49ers 27. Like I said, for me, I was sitting here thinking, and I said, it seemed like to me they really, 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 and I'm trying to push Kelsey up, and it seemed like he really, really was balling out of control last game, better than I've seen him in a long time. So I was like, okay. Usually you would say Patrick Mahomes, but I feel like, Tyreek is not there. So
it's gonna be that's gonna be very interesting how it's all gonna play out. Like, so we have our script in hand.
Right.
Yeah. So final thoughts before we head on out tonight.
Oh man, great show. Ready for the Super Bowl, man. Can't complain. Usher.
Yeah. So
Hey, I got one. Clean sweep.
Yeah, man.
Clean sweep. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me it ain't my turn. Woo, boy.
But
Go ahead, my
yeah,
bad.
man. So we got So the San Francisco 49ers and Kansas City Chiefs playing at the Usher concert. So
Usher, please bring out Killer Mike. Usher, please bring out Killer Mike. That would set everything up.
That's gonna be crazy. But yeah. Yeah, man. Once again, another great show. As we round out the live episode here on Couch Coach Live this week. Definitely head over to our social media, Facebook, Twitter, it's our X, and also the YouTube page where you can check out other Super Bowl content this week. Definitely a huge shout out to our guy Wildcard Mar. Did the Kansas City Chiefs preview. I got Steven Box from the Play Callers. He came on to discuss San Francisco 49ers. Our guy Ed Nixon, he was a member of the 2011 VCU Final Four squad. Came on the show last night, and he talked about his prediction and also talked about VCU basketball. So definitely check that out. We got another episode tomorrow night. I got Coach Mears. He is actually a PA announcer. Actually, he is a part of the Lexi Internet Radio alumni. When we exit stage left, he literally was right behind us. So definitely had a great opportunity to talk to him. That'll air tomorrow night at 8. Then we have our guy Jake the Snake. He'll be joining us on Saturday. We'll be discussing Super Bowl overs and unders. So if you want to put a little money on it, you might want to stick around and catch that one on Saturday. And then we'll be back Monday to recap Super Bowl 58 and, just our thoughts of the game itself. So it's definitely to close out our Super Week. We'll have a show on Monday, and then it's gonna be Cancun on 3. Well, we'll talk about that more on Monday's episode, where we're gonna take a little bit of sabbatical after Monday, but we'll talk about that on Monday as far as the specific date we will return. But so final social media, what you got going on and everything and all that.
Oh man, Deshaun Morgan, Facebook, DT Morgan 78, Instagram. Just chilling. Chilling, sit back, B. Nothing big, nothing big. Watching y'all make y'all moves.
Yeah, man, and just keeping it going, and so that's what we got going on. So we have 3 more episodes on here on Super Week. So definitely tune in for those tomorrow, Saturday night, and then Monday night. So this has been a special Thursday night special here on Couch Coach Live as we preview Super Bowl 58 and talk about the latest news in the world of sports this week. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow night with our guy Sean Mears. He'll be on tomorrow, and then catch us Saturday night, and then also Monday night as we cap our Super Week as we discuss Super Bowl 58 and whatever's going on in the world of sports at that time. So we are out, and we'll catch you guys on tomorrow night. And we're out.